will the virtuous sangha out of compassion for the sake of this assembly and all living beings, please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how then birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung thính đại đức tặng thịnh, vì thứ pháp hội cấp nhất thiết chúng sanh, thiện chuyên diệu pháp luân giao đạo ngã mùng, như há liêu sanh thoát tư đi khổ đạc lạc, tất chứng vô sanh. Homage to the Blessed, Noble and Perfectly Enlightened One. Nam mô Sa Đan Thô Sư Chế Đô Ye Ở La Hờ Đi Sa Miao Son Pu Tô Chế. Nam mô Đại Đắc Tha Tô Già Đa Già Ha La Ha Đế Tam Miệu Tam Bồ Đà Tọa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I'm able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual principles. Wu shang sheng shen wei miao fa bai jian wan jian na zao yu. 我今见我的手持愿解如来真实义。O Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Venerable Hui Neng, Venerable YongHua, Venerable Helpful People, and all good and knowing advisors of Emitofuo. 诸佛菩萨、六祖师父上人、各位出家人、各位善知识、阿弥陀佛。Như Phật Bồ Tát kính thưa Hòa thượng Tiến Hóa, kính thưa Lục Tổ Hòa thượng Tiến Hóa, quý thầy cô và quý vị thiện tri thức A Di Đà Phật. Hello everyone. We are today is the 19th of July, 2020. We are gathered here in Wei Mountain Temple. During this second lockdown in Los Angeles, to continue discussing the Sixth Patriarch Sutra. We are on chapter 7 of and slide 389. Sorry, it was not a lockdown. It is a second shutdown of the temple again. For us. It looks like it's going to be this way for quite a while. So anyway, we did we successive states? Okay, Four Noble Truths. Okay, so this is a new guy, Xing Si, right, Seventh Patriarch. Okay, very good. My generation, we're a lot less advanced as my teacher's generation. That's the way it is. So far, the typical thing that we do is because you don't know how scary it is for us to sit here and talk Dharma to you. Every time I explain sutras, I admit to you, I'm terrified. What am I afraid of? I'm afraid of the fact that I speak the wrong Dharma to you. And that's a very serious offense for us. That means I denying myself chances to become enlightened, not to mention I will fall after I die. Okay, so it's a very serious thing for us. That's why you see most monks and nuns don't dare speak Dharma, explain sutras. Okay, in particular, when I was within my Dharma, my master's Dharma circle, meaning his system, he basically said, "You can speak Dharma, and I will back you up. Meaning, if you need to fall to the lower realms, I will fall for you." So it's more reassuring for us to speak Dharma then. But now on my own, I'm not really a descendant. They are the Hung, really the true descendants of Master Xian's Dharma. I'm not. Okay, so I need to fend for myself. So I admit to you, I confess to you that I'm very scared to speak the wrong Dharma. Okay, so what do? Typically, when I first started, I decided to stay within his shadow and talk about the things he talked about, elaborate for you and for his Hung disciples, because I realized they don't understand quite a bit of his Dharma as well. So I felt safe back then. Okay, so I said, that's how I'm going to make a living, if you will. Earn my place, earn my support by elaborating on things that is missed out in a translation, in their explanations of my master's Dharma. And that's very safe. It's still within his shadow. And then Shakyamuni Buddha's relics came, and I said, I can't serve my master's Dharma anymore. I have to serve the Buddha's Dharma, which is even a worse issue, even a bigger problem. So it took me 3 years to decide that I needed to shift gear. And it helped that within 5 years, many of my longtime disciples progressed to the point where you need more than what's available under my master's umbrella to progress a lot quicker, because I don't have a lot of time, as I'm too old to be able to continue much longer. Finally, yesterday, after the morning Chan session, I passed out for about 12 hours. Because I'm lazy? No, it's because I didn't understand it. I couldn't understand. I normally don't sleep that much. And all of a sudden, I passed out for 12 hours. And I woke up, went to the bathroom, and I realized my skin got better. You see my skin? Now it's back to almost to normal. Since February, I had to struggle. I've been fighting a lot of toxins, a lot of problems, and finally it seems to be over the hump. You see, it's not easy to try to create new trails. But anyway, since we are basically on our own, and we cannot hide under his umbrella, we don't expect to receive protection from my masters as well, like all the disciples. They say they can talk about anything they want, and they don't get in trouble because they know that my master would back them up and resolve the problems. I don't have that luxury. So anyway, so it is, if you watched how we explain the 6th Patriarch Sutra, see, I waited for about years for his disciple to finish explaining a 6 Patriarch Sutra. That professor somewhere up north who's been explaining a 6 Patriarch Sutra for years. So I said, I'm not going to compete with him. Let him finish it or put pressure on him. But after 5-6 years of waiting, I said, enough is enough. I don't have much time to wait much longer. There are a lot of sutras I need to explain to you. So we started explaining a 6 Patriarch Sutra. We started by staying within the shadow, but elaborating more. And during that time, all of you, made progress, tremendous progress. So you forced the issue on me that I have to definitely get out of under my master's shadow in order to really, really fully explain Master Hui Neng's, the 6 Patriarchs' Dharma, okay, that my master did not explain. What is it that Venerable YongHua didn't explain to his disciples? The sudden Dharma, sudden enlightenment Dharma, which is the essence of Mahayana. It's the essence of Chan school in Mahayana. Okay? So what is this sudden teaching Dharma here? What is it? Anyone knows? Because I read about it from a Chinese literature. I tried to, my master never really explained it at all. And Chinese literature doesn't have it either. Okay, so anyone knows? But the Chinese do have a lot more materials than we do in English. Anyone knows what the sudden teaching is? Sudden enlightenment teaching is? It's something that's so Mahayana that Hinayana people don't have. In other words, if you listen to the Dharma masters, the teachers of Buddhism out there, okay, and if they don't bring up sudden teaching, that means it's Hinayana realm. My master explained sudden teaching very briefly. Okay, of course, his disciples, being a low level, don't quite know how important that was. Okay, so the translation is not there, and they don't dare elaborate much on their own either. So you can see that the most of the English-based translation or explanations of Mahayana do not have a lot of sudden teaching at all, sudden enlightenment teaching at all. Okay, it's because these people don't understand it. It's because these people don't know how to use it. So, what is this a sudden teaching? This is typified, exemplified by Venerable Hui Neng's teaching. I keep on stressing to you, the 6 Patriarch Sutra here, okay, is primarily sudden teaching. I would say 100% sudden teaching. You look at Master Xianhua's explanation, he mentioned it not very often. Okay, I could, if I am forced to, I can explain to you this sutra from beginning to end. Every single thing is sudden teaching. Every single thing he said is sudden teaching. It's so enjoyable to me, for me personally, to watch how he employed his sudden teaching. And I admit to you that I also, by learning from him, that I'm so grateful for this, that I use some of that, okay, low-level sudden teaching to teach my students. Okay, and you see that's how advanced his sudden teaching is. I only use a low-level sudden teaching to train my students.
Okay, so that's one characteristic that you can find for yourself. You should look at the Dharma masters or the Chan master, whoever, or secret school master or Pure Land master. Okay, his whole repertoire of teaching. Okay, and see how much of a certain teaching that is. And you can see this sixth Patriarch Sutra here is from beginning to end, it's all certain teachings recorded by someone else, not even selectively taught by the sixth Patriarch. Because you can imagine this Fa Hai, the guy who recorded his sixth Patriarch teachings, I'm sure he missed a lot of stuff. Okay, he's not even the seventh Patriarch level. So he missed so much of the certain teaching already. And yet what you see, what remains in this sutra is so fantastic. It's so profound. It's so clever. It's so wise. That's incredible. Okay, so even if you don't understand this certain teaching, the fact we are investigating it together, you plant the seeds for you to in the future, your Mahayana seeds for you to be able to understand this certain teaching in the future. That's how important it is. And it's a shame that my master never put that much emphasis on certain teaching for his students' sakes. You see, I wish he did, because I would love to understand his interpretation and hear his interpretation, more advanced interpretations of this sutra. Because I assure you, his interpretation is probably much higher than mine. No doubt about that. Okay, so as this certain teaching, the certain teaching is based on one unique factor. Okay, you look at this sutra here. What is so unique about this sutra is that you have the records of one monk teaching his pupils, his disciples, okay, and in the process of doing that, okay, they became enlightened just like that. Instead of the Hinayana or the other people, they have to grind it out and they have to put in the hard work year after year after year, and hopefully someday they become awakened. Whereas this great monk by the name of Hui Neng, he is able to field questions from his pupils. And in the process of answering the questions, he helped them become enlightened, just like that. That's incredible skill set. Okay? I can tell you I'm not able to do that. Okay, so the one key, that's why the Mahayana people, you can tell that the people who have Mahayana roots are the one that, because once I explain this to you, I assure you in the future lives as well, when you learn Mahayana, when you learn Buddhism, you say, I better go look for a teacher, a good known advisor, you will, because he's the one who has a certain teaching Dharma. That's why you see the Chinese originally had the Mahayana roots, because in their culture, in their Chinese Buddhism, more so than Korean Buddhism, by the way, more so than Vietnamese Buddhism, more so than Thai Buddhism, whatever, then more so than any other type of Buddhism, they tell themselves, go look for a good known advisor. Until recently, then the Chinese Buddhism, they don't do that anymore. Meaning that this generation of Chinese people, they no longer have Mahayana potential. Does it help? That's how you can tell. You as teachers, you can tell. And the people will say, I better go look for a good known advisor. Okay? Those are the people who have Mahayana roots, because they heard of it before. And their teachers in the past have helped plant those Mahayana blessings by the simple the simple knowledge. Go look for good no advisors. That's so Mahayana. Is it clear? Because with the certain teaching is between a master, a teacher, and a pupil. And because of this exchange of information, this bestowing of teaching, that the pupil becomes enlightened just like that. Okay? So it's come from the teacher. Does it make sense? And that's something that my master brought to this country, okay, to the United States in 1960s, and that's something that his pupils failed to propagate. Because Master YongHua became so famous, produced such great disciples, that all the people, like myself, who came much later, towards the end of his career, that he said, I had to go look for this teacher, and hopefully he'll teach me something. He didn't bestow the certain teaching to me personally, but because of his pointing me the way and giving me the parameters to cultivate, I was able to practice on my own for quite a while. Okay, and so it's not ideal. So I had to figure out a certain teaching, and I didn't know what it was. To be honest with you, when I was looking for ways to teach Mahayana and teach Chan and all those things, until we started investigating the 6 Patriarch Sutra together. All right, so the Chinese, they do in a prior generation, the Chinese, not the current generations anymore. Prior generation, I mean in my generation or my teacher's generation, they still have the Mahayana roots, and they inherited the certain teaching. That's why they immediately go look for a good no advisor, which we don't do anymore nowadays, which you don't do anymore. Now you say, I agree, I disagree, I don't believe. Of course you're stupid. How can you possibly understand what the good no advisor is teaching you? Anyway, so we have to be grateful to the Chinese for that very important tradition, that the certain teaching tradition that Bodhidharma brought from India to China, and he transmitted to Hui Ke, the first patriarch, Chinese patriarch, and then from China to the U.S., Master YongHua, I'm not whether he taught the second patriarch that certain teaching or not, that I'm not sure. But we owe to the Chinese that we have this certain teaching. They also have a very, very important tradition that I hope to be able to duplicate as well, because it's part of the Chinese certain teaching which should be preserved, which is look at this fifth patriarch, the sixth patriarch, to the seventh patriarch. You see that in the 6 Patriarch Sutra here, that how was it propagated? It was taught from a 5th patriarch to 6th patriarch. And then the 6th patriarch used it to teach 7 patriarchs. So you see, it's because they built these large Chan monasteries, these large cultivation, these way places, they're very big. So they have thousands of people cultivating together. That's the superior great assembly Dharma from a Chinese, which we don't have anymore. Okay, I don't think in Korea you're going to have thousands of people cultivating at all. It's not possible. I mean, you probably count all of them as about 1,000. You can't possibly assemble them in one place. But you see, it's so important because if you have let's say a few thousand people cultivating together, it's so much harder to survive than that so many of you here today, because right now you can't stand it already. Right now you say, I'm too afflicted. I can't stand that person. I can't stand the other person, and you quit because you get so afflicted. Only a few handful of you are enough to drive so many of you away. Most people away. Imagine you have few thousand people afflicting each other like crazy. It is so much more difficult. Can you see that? I know right now in our temple, there's only about half a dozen or left home people, and you can't stand each other at all already. Imagine you have a few thousand of you sanghas. You probably end up having civil wars within our four walls. You're going to have camps. You have Chan camps, you have Pure Land camps, you're going to have secret school camps and so forth. And you use all the tools that you receive training for to fight each other to establish dominance. How is that? So it's very difficult. If you, I don't know. I know you have no clues, but a few thousand people living together, it's anarchy. It is chaos. A kitchen right now, you have, what is it? A few people in the kitchen, a dozen people in the kitchen when there's a lot of people coming. But imagine you have 3,000 people that you need to feed. The kitchen staff will be running haggard, will be so afflicted that I assure you they're probably throwing knives at each other in such an environment. Okay. So in the future, if possible, I think one of the next step is we build a big temple like that, maybe in Korea, where we have about few hundred people, 500 people cultivating, and then maybe in the U.S. Thousands of people later, and because it's important because back then the Chinese knew that the certain teaching Dharma is at the big temples, not in the small temples. You have much better chance to go to find certain enlightenment teachings at the bigger temples. And that makes it much easier and much more suitable for the certain teaching Dharma. Excuse me. All right. Let's go back to slide 389 of the chapter 7 of the 6th Patriarch Sutra. Sutra Text, the Master said, then into what successive states could you fall?
诗曰：洛河阶级。
So what happened is, the context is that Master Hui Neng asked Venerable Xing Si, 7th Patriarch, what did you do? What did you do before coming here to prepare you to come here? That's what was implied in that Chinese, those Chinese words, which translated by my colleagues as what did you do before coming here? Actually, he meant is what did you do in order to prepare to come here? This is how serious it was for these people back then, for the Chinese back then, to know that they know that if they show up in 6th Patriarch in front of Venerable Hui Neng, they have one shot. If they blow it, that's it. So that's why they had to prepare for it. That's the context of that. And basically it says, Xing Si says, preparation? What preparation? I didn't even study the 4 Noble Precepts. Why are you talking about preparation? And so then the 6th Patriarch says, if you didn't prepare, You didn't even study the Four Noble Truths. Then how can you possibly fall into successive states? Successive states refer to Hinayana. Four Noble Truths is Hinayana Dharma, traditionally. And so he says, Xing Si came and said, I don't want to follow the Hinayana path by the successive states. I need to go by one level to the next level. And to me, Mahayana cannot be successive states, could be leaped, should be certain leaps, big leaps. So the Venerable Hui Neng says, so if you did not even study the Four Noble Truths, then how can you possibly, you don't even practice the Hinayana Dharma, how can you possibly fall into the gradual or successive states, or the gradual Dharma? Is that clear? It's very brutal. In 2 questions, he answered him already. That's how fast it is. Okay, now let's see if Xing Si gets it or not. So Xing Si says, Sutra Text, he replied, if one isn't practicing the Four Sagely Truths, what successive stages are there?
曰：圣地尚不为，何阶级之有？
So Xing Si says, yes, I understand. I got it. I get you. That I don't bother with the Four Noble Truths, the Hinayana Dharma. Okay, then how can I possibly progress in a gradual fashion? See, this is Xing Si has potential. 393, Sutra Text. The master greatly admired his capacity and made him the leader of the assembly.
师生弃之，令思守众。
师生弃之，令思守众. Okay, that's Chinese. Okay. This is the delicate part. That's why I immediately switched to Chinese to make sure that the English translation is close enough to convey the essence of this teaching. 生气去. Okay, so Shu here refers to Xing Si. 生气去, very good. Shu here is teacher, Shufu of Shu. But the Shufu here actually refers to Master Hui Neng, recognizes Venerable Xing Si as a teacher capacity already. Okay, that's why he said this teacher has profound Dharma vessel. This teacher here, this Dharma master here, is a profound Dharma vessel. That's what it means. So to translate it as greatly admire his capacity, what do you think? Doesn't cut it. Okay. The master felt that this monk is a great Dharma vessel. That's much more accurate translation. Okay? Change it, please. See, that's what I mean. There's no way these Hinayana people can understand this concise Chinese original text. Okay, and you should, by the way, Sangwok, you should also make a note of that so that you can change the Korean part as well. Okay, it's very profound because at that point, because of that, I didn't read this. Because of Xing Si's answer, Sixth Patriarch says, "Wow, this guy has potential," and sure enough, he says, "Su Sheng Shi Sheng Ji Ju," meaning that. So he says, this teacher, this Xing Si, which is categorized by Sixth Patriarch as a teacher already level. Okay, he's capable of teaching already. Okay, not only is he capable as a teacher, he also has very profound potential, very, very profound Dharma roots. Okay, and in Buddhism, it's called, when you have potential, the official, this is very, very, very very nice way of saying it that is that you are a Dharma vessel, a worthy Dharma vessel of mine. The Dharma vessel is only in the sense of from me to you. That's what Dharma vessel means, that I feel that I can give you my Dharma and you can contain it. Is it clear? This is very certain teaching Dharma. You are worthy Dharma vessel. I can transfer to you. I can transfer my profound Dharma to you. See, this, unless Master Xian explained to his disciples, there's no way they could possibly understand this. They can possibly translate this Chinese phrase. Okay? Let's see. On the commentary on slide 394, see, and that when I prepared this, I only focus on the fact that leader assembly means that shou zhong, meaning that he's one sits right there. In the Chinese temples, there's hierarchy, very clear hierarchy, meaning that besides the Dharma host, which is stands in the center there, the first guy, the second most important is the shou zhong, meaning that the person who sits right there, okay, or over here. If there's no one there, then there's going to be over here. Okay, so meaning that whatever the person does, the assembly should follow. But in our case, not always. For today, at least. Okay. Because what it means is that the Dharma host can only needs to correct him and doesn't have to go and correct one person at a time. That's too time-consuming, too tiring, and it makes him so afflicted. If you have to correct 3,000 people, that's too much work. Okay, he only needs to correct that one guy right there, or one gal right there. But sometimes it's not possible. Okay. Any questions? Okay, 395, Sutra Text. Okay. So immediately after 2 questions and answers, Venerable Hui Neng sized up Xing Si immediately and said, "You're going to be in front of everyone else." Why is that? Why is that? You can put your hands down because we're not reading a text yet. Why is that? To make the other guys jealous. and say, how come he doesn't know anything? She doesn't know anything and she gets to lead me. What? It's not fair. Master, you are not fair. I'm out of here. You see? You have 3,000 people who get afflicted. They're going to mount a revolt. What is it? Yellow lives matter. You're not fair. All right? So it's funny because then back then the Chinese would accept it, but the grumbling is, this is not fair. I don't like it. What's wrong with Master? He's probably too old. He's losing it. He's losing his marbles. But then Hui Neng didn't care. He said, he's going to be in front, and I'm going to, he can help save me time, because I need to teach him, and his job is then to make sure that everyone else gets it. Got that? Okay. Back to 395. Sutra Text. One day the Master said, you should go elsewhere to teach. Do not allow the teaching to be cut off.
一日，师谓曰：“汝当分化一方，无令断绝。”
So, I'm looking at commentary on slide 396. This is a long time ago. I haven't read it yet. So it's interesting that you know what it means, don't you? You know what it means? It means that, going back to slide 391, need to backtrack a little bit, Billy. When Xing Si said, if I am not even practicing the four stately truths, then what successive states are there? Meaning he answered himself. Can you see that? He gave him his own answer. Remember when he first came? He says, Great Master, I have a question. I came all the way here to ask you a question. And he says, what can I do to avoid falling into successive stages? Right? And then Hui Neng asked him one question and one more question, and he's done. He says, Xing Si got it. He says, if I'm not practicing that, then why do you need to worry about gradual teachings anymore? He became enlightened right here. You see how powerful the certain teaching is? Two questions from Hui Neng, and that's it. He's done. You don't appreciate it. It's okay. Go shopping or something. God, I'm so disappointed. You know, impressed? 2 questions. He didn't say, let me explain it to you, right? When this guy came and said, I don't want to do Hinayana. I've been doing Hinayana, and my progress has been Hinayana progress, rate of progress. I don't want to continue doing that. And when Hui Neng said, what did you do to prepare? Okay? And he said, I don't even practice the Four Noble Truths. And he says, why should you be afraid of successive stages? And Xing Si immediately became enlightened. Keep at it, okay? You need more time. You're still young. How about you, San Jose people? You're not impressed? It's okay. Yeah, go shopping. You can go shopping too. God. It's such a beautiful, beautiful example of a certain teaching, and none of you gets it. Okay, keep at it. Keep reading this. Maybe a few more thousand times. See that? As soon as so Xing Si, when on slide 391, he says, "You know, you're right." I elaborate for you. You know, you're right. I already knew that. I already didn't want. I was already didn't want to. I wasn't happy with gradual enlightenment, gradual teaching. If I rejected it already. Anyway, so he became enlightened. Okay, because of that. And the next slide, 393, from a Sutra Text, the master recognized him as a teacher with great Dharma as a teacher. Recognize this monk as a teacher with profound Dharma vessel, as a teacher with very profound Dharma vessel. This teacher, you recognize him as a teacher of profound Dharma vessel and profound Dharma vessel. You see how difficult it is to explain it to you. And the Chinese, they only use 4 characters. That's it. Even 3 characters. He's done. It took me 20 minutes to try and explain it to you. Okay? So this showed that the master Hui Neng, recognized that he became enlightened, and said, and he's one of the fastest ones, therefore he deserves. He will be able to grasp my teachings a lot faster than the other students, the other 3,000 students in my assembly. That's why he should be sitting in front, because I only need to teach him. He'll grasp it a lot quicker. He can spend more time elaborating for the rest of you. That's what it means. Make sense? Okay. And then one day, in slide 395, okay, one day, he said, you should go elsewhere to teach, meaning that you're ready to teach. Okay? So the commentary on 396 is that in 713, exact year right there, the 6th Patriarch was 76 years old, which is very old for the Chinese back then. It's very old. And he knew that he doesn't have much time left, so he called his disciple and said, you should go teach. I certify that you are my Dharma vessel. You're worthy to continue our lineage. Okay? So you should teach. He said, go and teach. That's it in Chinese. 汝当分化一方，无令断绝。汝当分化。You know what it means in Chinese? I would translate it slightly differently. You should go. So should go is correct. Okay. 分化一方. 分化 here, they didn't translate. And the 分化. They only translated 一方 and 化, but they didn't translate 分化. You see, I'm no Chinese, but this is so precise. Okay. Because when he says 分化 here, okay, what does it mean, you Chinese people? Come on, internet people, we have a lot of internet people who are very fluent in Chinese, and here as well. What does it mean? San Jose, Yes. Go ahead.
So, 分化 is take this place and transfer the people. I'm not too sure about 分 means divide.
You're not sure. Why do you answer?
I will go with that. Like take this place and transfer people there.
Damn, she could have become enlightened right then too, but.
You know.
You see, God, I tried to do it in two questions, but still doesn't work. You see how difficult it is. Okay, so he's not sure about 分化. My question about 分化, what does 分化 mean? Anyone else? It's very precise. The Venerable Hui Neng doesn't mince words. He's not polite for the sake of being polite because he's afraid to piss you off. Okay? Anyone else? Yes, internet.
分 means to disperse.
分 is a disperse. Disperse. 汝当分化一方. 分 the go, huh? Okay, if then go, then why you have to do 一方? You should say, he could have said 汝当分化. Forget 一方. Okay? Why do you say 分化一方? If you say only disperse, then you don't need 一方 anymore. Agree, disagree? Chinese people. Then he's wasting 2 Chinese characters. At 76 years old, when he doesn't have much time left, not much energy left, he would not be wasting his energy like this. San Jose, continue, please.
I feel the sentence implies the Dharma, the Mahayana Dharma, takes hold at this place. Just like we have a temple in Korea, it's kind of be there and then influence that area and propagate Dharma in that general area. So there's that yifang, like a castle.
This is so important. This is very important for you Chinese people to understand. This is your Chinese heritage. Don't lose this, please. It's a fantastic gift from the 6th Patriarch. Don't lose it. And that's the proof is that even the Chinese don't get it anymore. Of course, we're not Chinese, so they can't blame us for not getting it. So you Koreans, so we understand. Koreans, okay? But Chinese, there's no reason why you Chinese don't get this anymore. It's a shame. Yes. Internet.
分化一方 to distribute and establish at one place.
Of course, I know I don't expect you to get it, but I just want to demonstrate. I want to give you old Chinese people the chance to answer before I explain it to you. My interpretation, my non-Chinese interpretation, to demonstrate you Chinese people don't get it anymore. Yes. Anyone else? Then if you answer, that's a question, then the last question, that last answer from the internet, then you don't need fun at all. Okay? 你如应该当化一方. That's good enough. You don't need 分化. Hey, Taiwanese, you get it, Taiwanese? See, Taiwanese lost it as well. Yeah.
So it's saying that you divide, and you can divide to at one area, one region, Yifang.
Excellent. Of course, that's as far as you Chinese people can get. Because that language, you know, 分化, meaning you only partially, 分 is partial. It's not scattered, it's partial. Okay? Fun is one portion only. Yes? The main meaning of fun is one portion. You divide it, one portion. Yes? It's not scattered. Because it's not scattered because of the presence of Yifang, therefore it cannot be scattered. Okay? Yeah. So, Fanhua means that.
Yifang normally means like one direction.
Yeah, one direction. Yeah, not elsewhere. It just go in one direction. Okay, which is very powerful. You are capable of Fanhua, one direction. That's the certification of the sixth Patriarch Sutra, sixth Patriarch to the seventh Patriarch. You are competent enough to handle one direction. That's how vast your influence is. One direction. Okay? So I would translate it. You should go between parentheses, partially teach in one direction. That's very Chinese. That's why you cannot expect the current generation to get it, or even the Chinese to get it. Okay? What it means is this. Do not allow the teaching to be cut off. That is correct. Okay? Meaning what? Okay, let's see. Okay, and on the commentary slide 396, I said here, Venerable Xing Si received the robe and bowl, and he became the seventh patriarch. So he's a patriarch. He's certified. Okay, and he's one of the important patriarchs because there are a few of them that he is able to receive the bowl and the robe. Okay? He actually was a guardian of those things. Whereas the other patriarchs didn't receive the bowl and the robe. That's how important the Xing Si is. So far, so good? Okay. Now, let me finish that finishes and I explain to you why there's Fanhua. I'll go back to Fanhua later. Is that okay? Okay, because it's a lot to explain. But I don't want to steal the sixth patriarch's thunder. Okay. Going to slide 397. I apologize for jumping back and forth. Wow, there's a lot of stuff. Well, I think we're going to get lost. There's no way you can go this many slides and go back to 390 something. Okay, let me explain to you what I have in mind. I'm going to steal his thunder first. We are back on slide 395. And let me elaborate on the Fanhua Yifang for you. Okay. So I just explained to you the meaning of Yifang, meaning that his influence is one direction. That's how vast his influence is. However, it's still only one direction. Is it clear? Not 10 directions, only one direction. The sixth patriarch, the patriarchs, they don't need to be polite. Okay? They tell you, they call things as they are, as what's his famous sportscaster? That guy who died in ABC, remember? I call it as it is, the football games. Howard Cosell, thank you so much. You're dating yourself. In my generation, you have a very famous sportscaster by the name of Howard Cosell. And he says he's known as the kind of sportscaster who call it as it is. He doesn't soften the words for you. So anyway, he says, the sixth patriarch, he says, you are capable of handling one direction. Okay? That's how vast your influence is. Okay? So it's a certification that you are capable of handling one direction. You can choose any direction you want, you're capable of handling it. Never mind by the other directions. There will be others who will take care of that. Okay? Why is that so? Why is that so? Because even though you're great and you're capable of doing one direction, what you got from me is only one portion. My dharma of transforming the next generation. Hua is to transform, meaning teaching. Transform someone stupid into someone who is wise. That's what Hua means, basically. Is that clear? You can explain Hua on many levels, but his level here, he says, I Hua, meaning I transform someone, meaning I transform your stupid person into a person with wisdom. That's Hua at Xing Si's level. However, you can do only Fen Hua, meaning you can only transform only a portion. Meaning there's some people they're not able to transform. I know that already. So what do? What does it mean? You cannot transform everyone. You can only transform a portion of people. Then you refer them to the other directions. Can you see that? Now you need the collaboration from the other direction, from the other teachers. That's how precise the sixth patriarch instructions were for the seventh patriarch, Xing Si. Is that clear? Meaning that seventh patriarch did not get the full range of Master Hui Neng's teaching. Only got a portion of it, and he's able to handle one direction already. And the other disciples got all the parts of the teaching that Xing Si could not get. Yes, question about. I'm sorry, some of you might be bored, but this is very advanced. This is very important.
Now, when he's told to go in one direction, is the sixth patriarch referring to going to a particular school, a geographic direction, a level of disciples? What exactly is he referring him to one?
Very good.
Area.
Good question. One direction. What does it mean? One direction here refers to you can choose to go anywhere you like. Go west, go east, go north, go south, go northwest, go northeast, go southwest, go southeast. Doesn't matter. You can choose any direction you like, and you can dominate that direction. Your influence is that vast. So if you go north, the northern part will be yours. Okay? That's what it means. It's very vast. That's very Chinese, very Buddhist Chinese. Chinese Buddhist, meaning that they go by directions. One fang is direction. Choose any direction you can go. Okay, so what happened is that he might go this direction, and the other disciples say, "Oh, that direction, the Xing Si already. I'm going to go a different direction because I don't want to overlap with him." Okay, there's some overlap, meaning that For each direction, they have a certain distinctive competences, unique competences that Xing Si has in that direction. Okay, and let's say he goes to the north. Okay, and then someone goes to the west. Then there's an overlap here, which is normal. But there's something different than Xing Si has that the guy that goes to the west does not have. That's what it means. So the sixth patriarch is very precise. He says, you still need to cooperate because you only got part of my Dharma. You did not get all of my Dharma. Okay? Even though you are the head of the assembly, you still didn't get all of my Dharma. The other, even they have to listen to you. They may be slower than you, but they got other parts of my Dharma that you did not get. Does it help? Okay. No questions? Oh, the Chinese suddenly disappear. Okay, commentary in slide 397. This is interesting. So the patriarch said, Xing Si from the English here, from before both the rope and the Dharma were passed down, the master gave and transmitted from one generation to the next, and the rope represents faith, Dharma is a mind transmission. So, you know what it means? So the sixth patriarch explained to the seventh patriarch, Xing Si, he says, traditionally, we certify you as the next generation of patriarchs by transmitting to you the rope and the bowl. Okay, so you, the master back then, the master gave the rope and bowl and transmitted the Dharma for you for the next generation. Okay, the rope represents the faith, meaning that the people who have inherited the rope, okay, who helped reinforce the faith from our faithful, from our disciples, that the Dharma is still present in the world. And you can go to that seventh patriarch place and learn the proper Dharma, for sure, 100%. Okay? Just like the Master YongHua designated the second patriarch, you know that whenever this second patriarch decides to reveal himself as a second patriarch, you know, you go there, you will learn 100% proper Dharma. And like right now, you sit and you will, I don't know how far I can go with this guy. He talks a lot. He clowns around a lot. You know, it's very difficult for me to parse out which one is credible, which one is not. Whereas when you go to patriarch, second patriarch, American patriarch, you know it's 100% accurate. All right? So that's why the rope is the faith. You can have faith in the teaching. And the Dharma, transmitted the Dharma is a mind transmission, meaning that it's certification. It's certified that this Dharma here, the proper Dharma, has been transmitted from the sixth patriarch to the seventh patriarch, and then on down the line, from one generation to the next. This happens between patriarchs and patriarch. Okay? To help what? To help the next guy in line and their disciples. Is that clear? Because the next guy in line and their disciples need certification to reassure them. So far, so good? Okay, next, 398. I now have the people who worry about no faith. Since I accepted the rope, have experienced many difficulties, not to mention the future generations, will definitely have lots of fighting and contentions. And sixth patriarch continued, he says, even though I have a lot of disciples, I've been training, thousands, hundreds of thousands of disciples who've been training, okay? I'm not worried about their faith, okay? But in the future generations, we're doing this for the sake of future generation. I'm not worried about my disciples. My disciples are superior people. All of them are superior people. All of them have great Mahayana roots. Okay, that's why they went through a lot of tests and they are able to survive those tests. Okay, so I'm not worried about them not having inadequate faith. If you pass a test, your faith becomes stronger. And next test, even stronger, and so forth. So I'm not worried about them. However, in the future generation, they don't have me. Okay? Or your disciples don't have the training I gave you. Therefore, I need to, as one generation of patriarch to the next, ensure that we certify you as a credible teacher. So far, so good? Okay? This is very Mahayana. 399. The rope can stay to guard the mountain gate. You should branch out to teach in another place. Do not let the teaching to be cut off. I don't know why he says the rope here, my rope can stay to guard the mountain gate, meaning that basically even the seventh patriarch received the rope, he left it there. He didn't carry it with him. Okay? So to guard this YongHua, the sixth patriarch temple, if you will. He says that you are strong enough. Wherever you go, you have my certification, plus you are such a great teacher, you don't need the rope to instill faith in your disciples, so you can leave the rope here. Because my disciples and future disciples of my temple will need that more than your disciples. Does it make sense? Okay? So the sixth patriarch is very caring, by the way. He wants to make sure that he takes care of everyone. And you need to propagate, and you need to go to another place, okay, and propagate the Mahayana, make it available to more people who cannot come here, could not come here. And in particular, do not allow the teaching to be cut off. Meaning what? Do not allow Mahayana to be discontinued. Meaning, do not allow your Mahayana to be discontinued. Yes? Your portion of Mahayana not to be discontinued. That's your job. Any questions? It's very caring. You see this and you feel how much Master Hui Neng cares for his disciples. And only his disciples, the future generations as well. He asked a question about...
Master, can I ask what this commentary, is this from another text? It looks like it's a Chinese text to go with it.
Which one?
This where the last few slides says commentary. Is it from some other text, or where does this come from?
I don't know. I don't know where it came from. But I decided to leave it. Okay? So we'll elaborate on to have a glimpse of the personal, the emotional side of Master Hui Neng, if you will. We only see how he taught his disciples to help them become enlightened. Now he's taking care of everyone, not just the enlightened disciples, but everyone. And then his disciples as well. And future generations. That's what a patriarch does. Okay?
Sutra Text, slide 400. Having obtained the Dharma, Xing Si returned to Qingyuan mountain in Chuzhou to propagate the Dharma and transform living beings. After his death, he is given the posthumous title Dhyana Master Hong Ji.
师既得法，遂回吉州清源山，弘法少化，是弘济禅师。
Okay, let's see what the Chinese translated. How is it translated? Okay. Remember Jizhou. Yeah. Okay, I did comment on Te Fa. Te Fa is a commentary, and I disagree with this commentary. Te Fa obtained the Dharma. Having obtained the Dharma, this seems to be that it's not from Master Hui Neng, but it's from Fa Hai, the guy who transcribed the 6th Patriarch Sutra. That's why he explained that after this guy attained the Dharma, actually it's incorrect because Xing Si attained nothing. Remember? Master Hui Neng didn't really teach him anything. So to say Te Fa obtained the Dharma is incorrect. But it's okay. From a layman perspective, it's okay. From Fa Hai's perspective, he's also enlightened as well. It's okay. It's acceptable. From a patriarch perspective, it's inaccurate. Okay? I just need to point it out to you. I didn't explain this part. But on the commentary slide on 401, so Xing Si chose to go back to where he came from, okay? Whatever that thing is. China is huge. I have no idea what these places are. I'm sure they changed names by now, okay? But interestingly, he chose to go back to an area that he came from, okay? And one can't help but wonder, why is it so? Why would you do that? To me, I'd rather go to the Bahamas, for example. He asked me if I'm given direction from my teacher and said, you can go, which he did not, by the way. He just simply left me to die and swim with the sharks. But he gave me a direction like this, which of course I'm not qualified for such instructions. I would have chosen to go somewhere I like, I happen to like the ocean, so I would go to the Bahamas, or definitely not Cuba. Okay? So, why would you go back to where you came from? San Jose. Okay, San Jose. Go ahead, San Jose. Go ahead, San Jose. No comment? Is no sound coming from San Jose?
No sound again?
Now we can hear you.
Okay, I want to share that Jian Qin Yuan Shan is actually where my parents' hometown is. And then the villagers have been going to this temple for, since Master Xian Si was there. Still big temple. And then there is a stupa of the sharira of the master.
Wow.
Still there.
Wow. So you're born in a sagely grounds.
Yay. I also want to try to answer the question.
The answer
I think
is
he go back to the hometown.
The American
because
answer, yeah. The Chinese, let me skip over that.
Oh, sorry. What? I was saying that I thought he went back to his hometown because he wants to help his the people with his ancestors' roots, like his larger family, because they are still in that area as a part of the tradition and the filial duty.
Very good. This is typical people, unlike us American, unlike me American. These people prefer to go back to the hometown not because they're not adventuresome. They go back there because they want to repay those people who supported them. Okay, this is typical. They realize that the village helped raise them, and all these people who help him tremendously in his cultivation path, and therefore he had to go back there to share with them what he learned. Okay, and in particular, the Chinese always, when they come to the temple and they make an offering to you, they said, "Master, I hope you become enlightened, and you make sure after you become enlightened to come back and save me." Isn't that a Chinese thing? We Americans don't do that. The Americans said, "I hope you become enlightened, but then I prefer to go learning from Stanford and Harvard." Okay. So it's different. So the Chinese are something else. They hook you up, and since you received a bowl of rice from them, you say, "Yes, of course, I will come back and help you." Now you feel, after you become enlightened, you feel obligated to go back and save them. Okay. In America, much easier. We just charge you for the lessons, and then we don't have to go back and save you in the future because it's a fair exchange. Okay, so it's typical of the Bodhisattva path, where they chose to accept offerings from these people, from the villages and where they came from, and in doing that, they quietly, they silently agree to come back and pay off those debts. Okay? That lifetime, before it starts accruing interest. Yes?
Internet said De Fa means that Xing Si reached certain enlightenment.
No, De Fa here from Fa Hai. Xing Si doesn't see he attain any Dharma. Okay, so that's why Fa Hai's level is too low. That's why he transcribed it as De Fa, but it's a low Chinese Mahayana. It's a low-level commentary. If you ask Xing Si, did you attain any Dharma? He said, of course not. I attained nothing. Agree or disagree? I know Xing Si is not here anymore, but at Xing Si's level, he would not see as attaining any Dharma. Okay? It's not necessary to make the commentary if I were the Chinese. If I were Fa Hai, I would say, Xing Si just went back to his hometown. There's no need to say, after he attained the Dharma. Okay? It's nothing to be attained from Xing Si's perspective. All right? It's okay. Don't worry about it. And then next commentary, next bullet, he strictly guarded the Patriarch's teaching of not establishing words, okay, propagated sudden enlightenment school, okay. So he specialized in teaching Chan. Okay, he's strong in Chan teaching. And that's why not establishing words here, meaning that's one of the characteristics of a Chan school. If you want to teach in Chan, You want to teach, you need special jargon, special vocabulary, and Chan has the least amount of new vocabulary. Okay, he only has to use the existing vocabularies. Okay, whereas so that's a Chan school, and in particular the Chan school that's specialized in sudden enlightenment protocols, teachings. So that tells you that Xing Si's level is very, very high. Okay, you don't hear of someone who specializes in teaching sudden enlightenment very often because they don't know how to do it. But this guy here, Xing Si here, Venerable Xing Si, learned it from observing Master Hui Neng, trained thousands of people. So that's why he understands. He figured out how to do it himself. Okay, remember a certain teaching? The comment I made at the beginning of today's lecture is from one good no advisor to one pupil. Okay, and Xing Si observed it and learned it from one of the greatest teachers in a sudden enlightenment teaching school. And I'm sure since Master Hui Neng chose him to be the assembly leader, I'm sure that he would make provisions to make sure that Xing Si gets the sudden enlightenment teaching as well. Okay, so that came from Master Hui Neng. Okay, it didn't happen casually. It's training. All right. Any other questions? So this is to tell you that Xing Si, Venerable Xing Si's level is pretty high. Yeah, pretty high. To be able to propagate a certain enlightenment school. Okay, so we're very lucky. The Chinese were lucky. They got Xing Si at that times. All right, next. Commentary on slide 402. He opened the Dharma to teach the public. Chan cultivators came from all four directions and was called Jingyuan Xing Si. Jingyuan is probably the name of the mountain. Jingyuan Shan. Okay, Jingyuan Xing Si, so they usually go by the place, Jingyuan Xing Si, and his chant style was known to be complicated and confusing, beating initial confusion and leaving attachment. Oh, that's my commentary. The complicated and confusing question mark is my commentary. Okay, okay, I apologize. Okay, beating initial confusion and leaving attachment. 最 something 迷离着称 离着
扑朔迷离。扑朔迷离。
扑朔迷离。迷朔迷离着。称 okay. So you agree with the English translation? If my Chinese is very bad, so beating initial confusion and leaving attachment, is that a reasonable translation or not?
I would say it's more mysterious than confusion.
Beating initial
like
mysticism?
Yeah, that's what it...
No. No, mysticism doesn't matter. It's more for entertainment. Mysticism is for.
Well, I'm not sure what that word means in English, but
Okay.
but it more means like it's mystical. Like it's hard to understand, not that it confuses.
I see. The profound initial, no?
There's twists and turns.
Twists and
扑朔
turns.
迷离, yeah.
扑朔迷离。扑朔迷离着。离着 is leaving attachment. Okay? 扑朔
It's complicated. And then
扑 is complicated.
hard to understand the real truth. That's what it says in the Chinese definition.
How to understand the...
Hard to understand the real truth.
Okay.
It's complicated.
That I would buy. Okay. Bye. Yeah. It's more. I know you're bored because you're not interested in Chinese, but for us, Mahayana in the West, we need to learn from the Chinese and beat them at the games. So that's why, to me, I spend time to learn to make sure we try to understand as much as possible. This is Chinese, old Chinese stuff. Okay. So, from what we understand today, and this is why it's important that we preserve the original Chinese, because someday someone will have a better interpretation, which is fine with us. We don't feel threatened by it. Okay. But his Chan style, okay, is known to remove the misunderstanding or the lack of or the confusion about the profound principles, okay, and also at the same time sever attachments. Okay, that's Mahayana. Yes, internet.
The last two characters, 着称, is one word, meaning known for.
Huh?
The last two characters are 著称 means known for.
Known for?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first four characters, 迷离 and
不说 It's known
迷离.
for 扑朔迷离. His
Known for.
style is known for.
Okay, known for. Okay. 不说迷离. Okay, leaving attachments, leaving confusion. 迷 is confusion. To leave confusion, 不说 is, again, what is 不说? No, 着称 is known for. 不说 is what?
扑朔迷离 is it's kind of like a phrase, an idiom.
Okay.
The four words together.
They go together.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that it means complicated and hard to understand the truth. 扑朔迷离 together.
Yeah. Okay. 不说迷离. Okay. So if this is an idiom, that means that he specializes in elaborating on the Chan teachings that are too complicated for people, meaning even like the Hua Tou, which is very complicated, very confusing for most people. He's able to teach them even that. Okay. So he's very advanced, if you will, because Chan teachings are very concise, very abstruse, very abstract, and therefore most people who read these Chan scriptures, Chan documentation, They're confused like heck. They think they understand. All right, so Master Xing Si was able to resolve all those problems for his students. Okay. So the English translation here in our slide is incorrect. Okay, correct it, please. That's my mistake. I apologize. Okay, it's from a lack of knowledge about Chinese idioms. That's one level that beyond me. Okay. Commentary on slide 403. He taught for decades at Qingyuan Mountain An Yin Temple, later renamed by the emperor as Jing Chu Temple, and dedicated his whole life to the Chan School of Certain Enlightenment, Chan School of Certain Enlightenment School. In December 740, December 13, 740, he went to the main hall to announce to all that he's leaving, and sat in full lotus and passed away. Okay, so he stayed at the Qingyuan Mountain for decades. That's very Chinese back then, because transportation was not convenient, very difficult. So he stayed there. Nowadays, we're able to move around with online classes, and with airplanes, it's not as difficult anymore, except for the quarantine issues. So he stayed at that mountain at the An Yin Temple, meaning An is peaceful, Yin is stable. Yin is hidden. Okay, so that temple right there is named An Yin. So the temple of safety and hidden. Okay, and later he named by the emperor as Jing Ju. I don't know why the emperor does that. So Chinese. Jing Ju, meaning that's pure abiding, pure dwelling. So apparently the emperor is very impressed by the people there. He says, Master may have passed away, but the state of his disciples show that these people are very pure. Okay, so that's why this temple should not be hidden, but it should be known as a place of where people can dwell in purity. Okay, which is a praise of the Master's teachings. And he went to the main hall to announce to all that he's leaving, sat in full lotus, and passed away. So he died in front of his disciples. Okay, that's very Chan, Master-like. They can die any way they wish, and he chose to die in a very adorned way, sitting in full lotus. Okay. Commentary on 404. I think this is from the Chan records. Chan records from the Chinese. So this is recorded from the Chinese have a very good thing back then. They have records of these important events in Buddhism. It's part of their heritage. Okay. Commentary on slide 404. Emperor Tang Xizong gave him the posthumous name Chan Master Xian Ji. Xuan Ji. Xian or Xuan? Should be Xuan. Xuan. Xuan is not string, is it? Xuan is profound. Huh? This is string? Okay, the other Xuan is without the bow in front? Yeah. Okay. Xian Ji. String help? What does it mean to you Chinese people? Please help us out. Why do it have to be string help? Come on, Chinese people, help us out. Why does it have string help? Is it like you put a string around people's neck and say, if you don't become enlightened, I pull the rope, or I hit the horse, and the horse will drag you behind it? Or what? No? How about that for the next Chanchi? You don't become enlightened, we give you string help. We drag you. You have no horses, but we put a string and hook you up and then drag you around the parking lot in our bike. Any help from people? Xian Ji. Why Xian Ji? San Jose.
I think it has the meaning of continuing.
Continuity?
Yeah.
Continuous help. Chinese are boring. We'd rather have like big names like, what is it? Avengers help, or something more exciting. Why would you call string help? Anyway, that's so emperor-like. The Chinese emperor, he can name anyone, anything that he likes. He doesn't care. You disapprove or not. Okay, and 405. Xing Si and Shi Tou, Xi Quan. Okay. So now there's an anecdote between Xing Si and Shi Tou. Shi Tou is very, very famous Chan Master, a contemporary of Ma Zu. Okay, so later Ma Zu and Shi Tou are about same level, very close to each other, who then really made Chinese Mahayana proliferate, prosper tremendously. Okay, a lot more than Xing Si, but Xing Si is the one who trained them. Okay, so this is an anecdote between Xing Si and Shi Tou. Okay, are you too bored? If it's too much for you, I'd be glad to skip this. This is very difficult to explain these things too, by the way. You only embarrass yourself by showing that how shallow your understanding is. Okay. So you want me to embarrass myself? I take it as a yes. Before the sixth patriarch passed away in sitting position, a 14 years old little novice by his side, Shi Tou, asked him, after master passed away, Xi Qian haven't understood who I can depend on. So before the sixth patriarch died, he accepted a disciple by the name of Shi Tou, Xi Qian. And so Xi Qian realized that Shi Qian realized that the sixth patriarch is leaving. So he says, I'm not enlightened yet. This is a problem. I came here to learn from him, but I'm still haven't become enlightened yet. So I better ask him before he left. I should have done that. I never did. Since that's the difference between the wisdom level of Shi Tou, Xi Jian, and myself. I should have asked Master Xian Hua, after Master Xian Hua passed away, and I have still far away from enlightenment, who do I depend on? He should have said, you should depend on the second patriarch. His name is. And then I would have sold that information and made a fortune. Because so many people ask me, who's the second patriarch? Who's the second patriarch? And anyway, who? It hasn't worked yet. Yes?
Going back to the last slide.
Yes, last slide.
Ji has many meanings. It can also mean cross or relieve in addition to aid or help.
Yeah. Prosper? What other meaning besides help?
Cross or relieve.
Cross or relief, yeah.
In addition to aid or help.
Yes, cross, relief, all those things, same thing. Ji here is to help, to aid for them out of trouble or to aid them in becoming enlightened. Okay, so I'm not questioning the Ji, I'm questioning the Xian. Okay, so apparently I'm learning Xian here means continuous. Okay, thank you for your contribution, you Chinese people. All right. So now Shi Tou asks the sixth patriarch, who can I depend on after you're gone? So Shi Tou, and say he didn't come and say, Master, you're dying. What can I do to help you live longer? He says, you dying? Goodbye. Who do I turn to now? It's so Chan-like, no emotions. So Shi Tou has potential. So slide 406. Hui Neng answered, go seek Si. So he says. In Chinese, it has multiple meanings. It also means go. You seek. You go seek thinking. Okay, that's what it means in Chinese. Another meaning, if you are not into Chan, the actual meaning, you go seek thinking, literally. It means that choose to go. Okay. Leave here, okay? Leave here. Don't stay here, okay? Go, meaning leave, okay? Seek, to search for, and to think. That's the colloquial Chinese. Go look and think. It also has that meaning, by the way, okay? You go look and contemplate and think. So it has double meanings. Is that clear? It's so Chan-like. The Chan teaching is never straightforward, never like one-to-one translation. Even the Chinese don't get it, let alone us non-Chinese people. Okay? So it says, go seek and contemplate. Go seek and think. Go seek instructions and think about those instructions. Okay? Yes, question. Give him a mic, please. Xun is to seek. Si is to think or contemplate. Chu is to go. Go. Seek and contemplate. That's what it means. Literal.
I just wanted to hear the Chinese.
Xun, Si, Chu. Yes, internet.
Master, isn't Si Xing Si that person named Xing Si?
And also means go seek Xing Si as well. Okay? So if you don't understand, you don't know Xing Si, it's okay, because it also means that, yeah, of course, the first instruction is that you have conditions with Xing Si, so go seek Xing Si. That's the answer. However, if Shi Tou, that kid, the 14-year-old kid, doesn't like Xing Si or doesn't get it, he can go seek the other direction. Remember, there are the teachers as well. And you go and seek and then reflect and contemplate. Am I seeking the right guy? And eventually you should go and find Xing Si, and that's where you get the best help. But it does not preclude him from going to Xing Si, only because he says, you go seek, okay? Because it will broaden your training. Xing Si's only have part of my teachings. So the sixth patriarch instructions are very, very profound. You can also interpret it as, you may go to Xing Si, but don't be stuck with Xing Si, because you're that good. You can absorb from the other teachers as well. You buy that? But then the Chinese can choose to interpret whatever way they want. We non-Chinese choose to claim that it's such a beautiful instruction. Okay? It's so typical Chinese. You can interpret in so many ways. And it's consistent with the situation, because Xing Si is not the sole inheritor of the Dharma. He only inherited part of it. All right? Almost there. It's just a few more minutes and we can go shopping. 407, commentary. After the patriarch passed away, Shi Tou sits by himself every day, racks his brains painfully. Okay? Mo Sư Gu Xiang. But cannot get it. Okay? And that's the beauty of the teaching. You're not supposed to get it, you idiots. Because it's to prove how stupid you are. Okay? The lead monk, the Shouzuo, said, you have a Dharma brother. He couldn't figure it out. And the guy at Nanhua, where the sixth patriarch temple was, he says, you have a Dharma brother monk called Xing Si, who now live in Jizhou, and your cause conditions are over there. And the master's instructions are very, very precise. You only fail to grasp it. Okay? And again, I'm telling you, this is why the sixth patriarch told Shi Tou or Xi Jian to leave the temple, because the lead monk at his temple still didn't get the part where you're supposed to go look for the other teachers as well. You get that? This guy this lead monk here, the Shouzuo here, only got the parts, the Su part. He didn't get, you have to seek and contemplate part. That's why, one more reason number 3, why Venerable Hui Neng, the sixth patriarch, told Shi Tou to leave. The third meaning, leave Nanhua. Because that's, you don't belong there. They can't help you. Okay? And you should seek. Your nature is to seek. This guy only sees conditions with the Xing Si, but he didn't understand Master Hui Neng's teaching. You should go seek yourself. Don't be confined, or don't be limited by Xing Si's Dharma. Okay? Do you still question where this has come from? 408, commentary. Thus he traveled very far until the bottom of Qingyan Mountain and rely on this Dharma brother who's 29 years older than him to cultivate. And so that's, are we done? I'm trying to finish it here. Oh darn, you have another quite a few things left. Why don't we stop here, because there's no more time. If I get going, I need another 15-20 minutes. Shall we continue next time? Today is a hot day, so I don't dare mention any kind of frivolous things, because the last time I mentioned it, somebody bought some gelato. And I feel guilty that we are so self-serving, we're climbing on conditions, because once it's been bought, it's a precedent has been established. All we have to do is mention another type of refreshing things. I'm joking. We're not self-serving, self-indulgent. Thank you, everyone. Next time, let's continue at next slide, 409. Okay? Thank you. Let's stand up and transfer merit and virtue for rebirth.